step into the spotlight.
Couple lights on, cameras roll, time to break the mold. No more silence, every story's gotta be told. Truth in the air, no filter, no disguise. Real talk, real change, we open up your eyes. We got the voices that are changing the game. Fearless, unchained, calling our names. From the struggles to the rise, we expose, we ignite. No topic too deep when you step in the light. We got the answers, spotlight, let your truth be heard. Unfiltered conversations, every thought, every word. We challenge, we question, we dive in the deep. Breaking the silence, no secrets we keep. From the pain to the power, the lessons we learn. Voices of the people, let the fire burn. Dr. Donna, Dr. Laxley, leading the way, guiding the truth in a world full of gray. Experts, activists, voices untold. Everyday heroes with stories so bold. This is more than a show, it's a movement, a spark, illuminating shadows, bringing light to the dark. We got the voices that are changing, be heard. Unfiltered conversations, every thought, every word. We challenge, we question, we dive in the deep. Breaking the silence, no secrets we keep. Step into the spotlight, let your truth be heard. Unfiltered conversations, every thought, every word. We challenge, we question, we dive in the deep. Breaking the silence, no secrets we keep. We got the voices, spotlight, let your truth be heard. Unfiltered conversations, every thought, every word. We challenge, we question, we dive in the deep. Breaking the silence, no secrets we keep. And if you want the real, then tune in right now. We're breaking down walls, no backing down. One mic, one voice, one mission tonight. Step into the spotlight, let's get it right. Let's get it right. Let's head to the spotlight. Let's get it right. What do do do?
Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to In the Spotlight. This is, of course, the home of unfiltered conversations where real talk is what we do. And I am none other than Dr. Donna Thompson.
And I'm Dr. Laxley, and together we are your moderators. Fearless, that is. Dr.
That's
Donna,
right.
how are you?
I am great. I am actually doing wonderful this Monday evening. And how are you doing today, Doc?
Awesome, just awesome, man. I am just so grateful and thankful for life, and a good life at that. Just so grateful.
Absolutely. We are here and we are above ground, and that is a blessing.
Absolutely. You know, and many people we know are not above ground, but you know, life is so important that while we're here, we must do the best we can. We must live it the best we can, and we must do as much as we can in goodness and all that good stuff. So, Dr. Donna, we have a big show tonight. We have a guest, a good friend of ours is on, and she's got some information, good information to share with us, you know, in the business space and in the charitable space as well, because she's that person. But before we go there, we at the Collision with Purpose, we have some things that are happening as well. and I want us to go over it real quick. I know big on our list is Kenya. We're going to Kenya, May 22nd. So it take a couple of minutes and talk about that and why is that important?
Yeah, so May 22nd, we're going on our second community-based outreach in Kenya, and that will be for 2 weeks. That is the plan for 2 weeks. And once again, we will be doing various different initiatives, looking at schools, toilet initiative, visiting foster care homes. So we're looking at clothing drive, we're looking at fooding drive, we're looking at the elderly as well, how we can assist with some of the elderly needs while we're there. But one of the big things that we will be doing there, it's the launch. We'll be launching the Elizabeth Sitawa Cancer Community-Based Organization. So that is our nonprofit pretty much organization under a collision with purpose. So that will be a huge undertaking that we will be doing while we're there. And that will more than likely consist of visiting some of the fighters that are actually still, going through this horrific disease, visiting some of those individuals and their families and their homes, and just looking at different areas of support that is needed for those communities. And we're encouraging everyone to really jump on board, join the CBO, join us on this fight, because I can't think of any person in this world that has not heard the word cancer or know someone, family, friend, extended friend, or someone who has been affected by this illness. So, while we're doing that, we're definitely asking for everyone to jump on board with us as well and support us there. And yes, we are starting in Kenya, but the vision and the goal is to expand that outreach because, of course, this is a global thing that is happening. So a lot of work that's, that is still taking place behind the scenes to prepare for this trip.
Awesome. So we're doing Kenya, and we're from Jamaica, and Jamaica is a very important country in our lives, right? And so we, as Global Humanity Network, our nonprofit agency, we're working in Jamaica. But the big thing that we're doing is our Beyond the Backpack program, where we're doing more than just charitable work. We're building bridges. We are building capacity because we understand that for a nation to be strong, to be sound, we must have productive citizens. So we know that it starts with students. So our thing at Global Humanity Network is not just to give textbooks. We're going to go way beyond that. We're going to provide mentoring. We're going to walk with these students, primary school students in the public schools. We're going to walk with them for at least 3 years once we select them for our programs. And we're working in Trelawney, in Westmoreland, and in St. Elizabeth. And once this program is kicked, we started the initial phase of the program where we gave out, I believe it was we gave out textbooks to 135 students. I'm not talking about one textbook. Enough books for each student, for each of the 135 students to do what they need to do for this year, for the year of school. And we will pick up in August, and then we'll start with 8 students, and we will provide more than scholarships. We'll go beyond the backpack. We'll walk with them. Whatever their needs are, we'll be there to facilitate that. So that's another big thing that we're doing here at the Collision with Purpose and Global Humanity Network. But that's enough, right? Let's get to business. Let's get into the spotlight. Let's bring her into the spotlight, our guest.
All right, sure. So before we bring her on, let me just give you a little background information as to who our guest is this evening, right? So this evening we have Dr. Marcia Parker, who will be joining us. And she is the president of the Jamaican American International Chamber of Commerce, USA, which is an organization that serves as a vital economic and cultural bridge connecting Jamaica, the United States, and the Caribbean on a whole in a global marketplace, right? And under her leadership, the chamber has evolved into a platform for entrepreneurs, advocacy, international trade, mentorship, and community empowerment. However, beyond the chamber, work that she does, she is also deeply committed to philanthropy and community service, where she's supports underserved populations through mentoring emerging entrepreneurs and advancing initiatives that reflect the beliefs that economic success must walk hand in hand with social responsibility. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and bring on Dr. Parker and let's do a drum roll. We have to get a real drum.
Here she is.
Hi, good evening, Dr. Parker.
Good evening, Dr. Donna. Good evening, Dr. Laxley.
How are you? Wow.
I am doing extremely well.
Oh, I like that. Not just well, but extremely well. Isn't that something, Dr. Donna? I love that.
I love that.
Extremely when it's a good thing.
I have eyes, I have ears, I have mouth. My hands work, my body work. There's a roof above my head. I got family. Oops, that extremely.
Well, and you talk about a roof above your head, and we're all three of us. We're from Jamaica, so we know what it's like. We have many friends who have been living without a roof over their head, so we know how important that is, right? Having a roof over your head. So that's not something we take lightly, and that's why if that's all you have is a roof over your head, you're doing extremely well.
Yep.
Yeah, so true, so true. Dr. Marcia, wow. So good to have you on. This is your first time on our platform.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
Before we get into the talk about the work and the impact of the JAICC, can you take us back into your personal journey? What experiences shaped your commitment to business, leadership, philanthropy, community service, and the whole thing about building bridges across economies and communities? How did all this get started? Tell us about your early life.
So I am from a long line of entrepreneurs. Way back when, my grandfather was a butcher, and my other grandfather was a carpenter. Used to work at JDF, building those little board houses. They probably changed them now, building all those little board houses. But most of it came from my mom, dad, because he was an entrepreneur, and he would raise animals as well as raise them. And my grandmother was a trophy wife who stayed at home and waited on him hand and foot. And I know I didn't want to be like her, waiting on my husband hand and foot or anything like that. My mom was also an entrepreneur. She used to, and if you listen to me, most of the time you hear me make reference to the dancehall community. My mom used to do dances, run betting shop, bars, stalls, and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm from a long line of family of entrepreneurs, and so that kind of helped shape me. My dad was a Tyler, but he wanted us to get education, but he's the type of dad who believes in if you don't get an education, then you should learn a trade. And I and him, we both had disagreement there, where with my brothers, he was saying that my brother is not going to get education, so he should go and learn tiling. But nonetheless, he's that type of person that's really believe that all of us should have a trade. I remember one of my sister was doing tiling with him at one time that I found at the time. I find it very, very interesting for her to want to go do tiling with my dad. But and my dad used to provide job for all the young people in the community, and he would have them working with him all over Jamaica. All over Jamaica, they would go from time to time working. And so that kind of helped to shape me into wanting to have my own business. But having my own business, I realized that I have a knack for certain things. And then I realized that a lot of business fall through because they are not equipped with the necessary information. So I could be a chef and can cook extremely well, make all different kind of dishes in terms of infused dishes, different country dishes, different nationalities and stuff like that. But the business aspect of it, I am really, really, really not compliant with the business aspect, like the marketing, the promotion. And while I'm cooking, it would kind of take a lot for me too. And this was before social media was this popular. Um, you know, to take a lot for me to be doing the promotion and doing all of this and getting the clients and doing all of that without having somebody to help to carry the parts that needed to make the business successful. So I realized that there's a missing part of it. And when I come to the realization of that was when I owned a trucking company, and drivers were using my DOT to run they would lost their DOT because certain information they would be privileged to, like what DOT is looking for when they get pulled over in June. Certain information, driver, how to write a contract with drivers and have drivers signing off contract that if you park the truck in no parking zone and stuff like that, you're responsible, pick up here and time, make sure you're on appointment, and if not, there's a fine. Just to hold them accountable and stuff like that they were short. And most of these truckers are owner operators. So I find that there needs some education and some other parts of it. And that's where I started to say, no, we have to do something else. And so I became the chamber president of the the Jamaica America International Chamber of Commerce in New York. That was umbrella under the New American International Chamber of Commerce. And then I started having relationship with the other Caribbean country chambers, and that's where it all started.
Oh,
Wow.
Donna, she
So,
came from a family, Donna, of her dad was a serious man. He better learn the trade. And I think he was onto something. Your dad was onto something about learning trade.
Yeah, we often had disagreement. Like I was sent to nursing school. It wasn't my my thing because I didn't like the blood. I was sent to hairdressing. Uh, Hairdressing school. I learned it because I kind of like doing hair. I could do hair really well back then, like the cornrows and stuff like that, and I still do cornrows. But then it wasn't fulfilling for me, and so I went and I started doing community work, and that kind of leads me to start doing charitable work and wanting to become a social worker, because that was kind of fulfilling for me. I like to see the smile on people's face when you help them, what was so difficult that they couldn't get over. And so I used to work with an organization in Jamaica for a very long time called Hope for Children, which was on Spanish Town Road, and we used to work in the communities of Greenwich Farm, Rosetown, Walton Park Road area. And I'm from Kingston 13. So, Pien Avenue, Majestic Gardens, White Wings, Waterhouse. Sometimes I work with all the schools in and around that area. So that kind of lead me to that aspect of the charitable part of me, because I kind of have experience seeing and hearing and knowing some of the needs that existed. And then when I came to America, and I came to America through that program, through UNICEF and United Nations. And when I came to America, I started to do business. This wasn't even planned. I just started to do business. And that's when I find out that there's a niche and I can be in that gap.
Right. Wow. Commend you for that. For definitely. But yeah, that's definitely definitely a personal journey that you've definitely shared with us here. Um and through that it's you've found your way to establish the chamber itself,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But Dr. Marcia, how how would you define the core purpose of the Jamaican American International Chamber of Commerce in today's global economy?
So, so our core purpose into today's economy is to bridge certain gaps, and we do that a number of ways by providing information to our membership, and not just any information that we have programs that we use to, like for example, our Ask the Lawyer program. We have that legal team that you could ask business legal questions as well as immigration question. And then we have our QVC business takeover, and that is to expose our business and the global market. And in fact, we do that with a TV station outside of Jamaica, which has a listenership of 26 Caribbean countries, and Canada, England, New York, Florida, and Connecticut. So what we do with them, and they don't even know that this is what we're doing, is that we're teaching them to pitch. So they got our sponsors might have more because they come polished and ready to sell their product and services. But for our small business, our smaller business, they get 5 minutes to pitch. And we say to them, okay, so if you are in the elevator and Damon John or one of those rich dude and shark tank should show up, and you have just 5 minutes to tell them about your business, how you'll do. So we get them into that mode of selling their business for themselves and national TV. Sometimes they don't know that on this you could have investors, you could have venture capitals, you could have people who are looking for collaboration. And that can help a small business to grow, can nurture a small business to grow. We have program like our sponsor a student, which we do in Jamaica. And that helps to nurture our child. Our children are on this program for 4 years, from or maybe more. Some are there from primary, from kindergarten all the way to high school. And this is where we prepare them to be entrepreneurs, to understand the global market, to see how they can not only become DJs or this quick fix footballer or quick fix DJ, because sometimes the youths in Jamaica think that, okay, I need to become a DJ and make money. So there are other things. So what if tomorrow morning you wake up and your throat can't sing or you can't DJ anymore? What's going to happen? What happen if your knee, you pull a muscle in your knee or something that you can't do? You need to wrap back on that education, that academic. So we nurture them just like you do with the backpack program, and we bring them through, preparing them for the future, because they are going to be our successor later on.
Dr. Moss, there's some serious questions. What if the knee is no longer with you? Unless sports is your game. So it's real serious questions with real implications. You talk about the chamber as a bridge, and that's what it is. Dr. Marcia, why is it so important to intentionally foster economic and cultural connections between Jamaica, United States, and other nations?
Human capital, branding, our culture, um, trading, trade missions, tourism, all of that is to foster and champion that growth intentionally between Jamaica, America, and beyond.
Right.
I like that word and beyond, Donna. That's a word
Beyond.
we're using.
Yes.
And beyond.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And beyond. So it's really all we do is really intentional. It's not only that we are there in name, but we're really active in the gap. Like we are advocating, we are entering rooms, we are writing letters, we are training persons through partnership, or we do the training ourselves, or with Friends of Jamaica. We are we know that the small business sometimes, look at this, when our people comes from Jamaica or other countries, they might not be able to get a job instantly because of they might not be educated. You know, your resume might not be upgraded, and so you need the experience. And so the chamber facilitates that with some of the businesses. So 'cause some of the businesses provide employment. These small businesses provide employment for some of these persons who just come. Some of them will nurture them, some of them will grow them, give them resumes to move on and stuff like that, even send them back to school, facilitate them. So it's a lot that these small business do, and that's why it's very, very, very intentional and purposeful for us to be able to stand in that gap with the small business and nurture them, nurture these small businesses.
Wow. Let's, we talk about the mission and the mission that drives the work forward. At the JAICC, you focus on advancing economic prosperity for its members and the wider Jamaican American community, right? But what does that look like in practical measurable terms?
Say the question again.
So the JAICC, you focus on advancing the economic prosperity for the members and the Jamaican American community. In practical terms, how do you measure that? How is that measurable for you?
It's measured by the work that we do. Growing up as a child, I used to hear my grandparents say Madden's funeral slogan is that their recommendation is in their last job. It's the same thing for us. Our recommendation is in our last job. We measured our work by our last job. Our feedback, the satisfaction that we get, the quality of the services that we offer, the curated program that is being offered to drive success, and that's how we measure this success. One of the things that we do that most people don't know is that after every session, every webinar, every activity, the board we will gather, or we will stay in line, because we are asking how that went, what could we have done better, what did we do wrong. We're constantly looking at ways to improve what the chamber offer. How can the chamber be different?
Got you.
Very important. Very important. Getting that feedback, looking for ways to improve, and just to do your work better. Dr. Donna, that's something for you. Before tonight and in recent times, did you know anything about this organization?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. And I find that to be very interesting, because it's very new to me as well. And such an important organization. I think we need to get the word out. about it because it's so important. So important. So, Dr. Marcia, you're hearing it. I imagine a number of our friends are not aware of what you do and who you are as an organization. So that's something to take note of, right? Now,
Yes.
how do initiatives like educational programs, business seminars, and workshops directly equip the entrepreneurs and small businesses in the organizations to succeed?
It acts as a bridge for entrepreneur, and this is where we transform the passion into competitiveness, where we teach them how to market, how to promote, how to label, how to package, how to um how to offer your service, your messaging, your persona. We do the ditch and switch, which a lot of people don't know. Like, we if for a season you might have a service or a product and it's not working, you need to ditch that, or you need to build up on it, or you need to take off from it, or something like that. And we do these through the seminars and the webinars, where they will garner these education and awareness. Through this, we have promoting. We also have a marketing consultant that they can contact, or they can get a 15 minutes consultation with. If it's just a question, beyond that, then she would have to work out something with them, to go further into how they can definitely benefit from a session like that. But we bring in the expertise, we bring in the trainers, and we do all of this to make sure that our business are functioning at a level that they are comfortable. And we don't want to use the word comfortable either, because comfortable doesn't always bring result, doesn't always bring the result that you're looking for. Comfortable is just to say, I can't bother. And a lot of our businesses have that attitude, that can't bother attitude. We, as if it's their middle name, we want them to be able to be bother, in terms of getting that training, being at that conference, be at that networking session, engage new customer, have a conversation with somebody who probably you can collaborate with. And that's another thing that we are strong on: collaboration, doing collaboration, because partnership helps. It gives leverage, and so we push that. So we are really a bridge through these seminars and these trainings and these expos and everything else that we do.
Wow. You know, this is a lot of information because I'm learning a lot here. And it's very important, especially for our small businesses, because, we know that more often than anything else, our small business, there are the backbone of our economic growth, right? So very, very important information. But Dr. Marcia, like currently, what challenges do small businesses, especially in the diaspora, face today that the JAICC is actually uniquely positioned to address, especially with some of the things that's taking place currently?
And you are right. Some of our businesses are faced with visibility. They are faced with bad weather. we can't do nothing about the bad weather, but because that's mother nature. But they're faced with visibility, they're faced with lack of funding, they're faced with the business aspect of it. Like I said earlier, so I could be a chef, I could be a nurse, um I could be a butcher or anything. But how do I market? How do I'm looking at a sales report from someone, and they were crying, not physically, but they were saying, um Dr. was saying, no, so I'm gonna make no sales from week, yada yada yada. But what is it are you doing to attract customers, to get sales, to drive sales. And this is what some of what we address. We address that through our pop-up shop. So if you have a physical space, we come to your space and we do a pop-up shop, which give you credibility. Pop-up shop, engaging new customer. But you can't depend on us to do the work alone, because if I'm doing a pop-up shop at your place of business, you have to be able to make sure that you're going to, if it's a restaurant, you're going to change the menu for that day. You're going to make it colorful. You're going to probably bring something that they have never here. You're going to offer some level of promotion, like a 5%, the first five, something, a doorbuster, something, a discount for the person, or do promotions like every 5 minutes you do a promotion. You got to come out. You have to have your business cards ready. You have to come out. You have to talk to vendors. You have to talk to customer. You have to find out, did you know that this restaurant was here, or this, my nail shop was here? Did you know it's owned by a Black person? Where, kind of have to start the conversation with low hanging fruits, and then build with these people, so that you go, can I add you to my mailing list? And then, sometimes you just do a blast of sending out an email with promotions inside of it, so that these persons can know that, they're doing a 5% discount, or it's my birthday, I can get, to pretty up for today, I can get a 5% discount. Or people love bargains, people love discounts. And so these are areas that we want to address with them. The areas of funding, in terms of building your credit, building your business credit. How do we build our business credit? Why is it so important for us to build our business credit? We also need to know, where would you like to see your business in 5 years, in 2 years? Because if you want to see your business as a big conglomerate, then what you're doing today is not going to grow your business. First of all, you have to be in the room. You have to take the risk. You have to start taking the risk. You have to be ready to say, I'm going to pay to be part of a venture capital, where I am going to pitch my business and see if I can get an investor to help me. And if partnering with an investor means that I have to change my business plan, then that is what I'm going to do. But first of all, let me speak to a lawyer. Let me have a lawyer. Let me have the legal team look at it to see if the clause in it is okay. And after how many years I can say, well, investor, it's time for you to step back. Thank you for your service. Or however you want to work that out with your investor, whatever they are working. So we need to address this. We often talk to them about, what we talk about in our group is the Jabez prayer of extending our territory. And we often say, in order for your territory to be enlarged, other than praying for your territory to be enlarged, you have to be doing the work, because faith without work is dead. So you have to start having the conversation. You might not like the person. And I can use one person, one of our advisor board person, who is currently in Ghana right now. And we talk like every month or 2 times per month or so. And he is a fashion design. And he teaches a master class in Ghana, and he has a fashion show there. And he can provide for our businesses 400 person in a room at one time, because of his connection, because of the leverage that he has there. So I'm saying to people, why not go there and support him, and see how you, not supporting him, but use his connect to make sure that you have a leverage. The same thing goes with our ambassador, who has a global economic connectivity, where we have people from Europe and people from other parts of the world coming, and you are getting to be in the main pavilion. Why? Because you are a part of JAICC. So if the conference is 7 days, you'll be in the main pavilion. If you are a chef, you get to do a demo. If you want to buy products, then they have products for you to buy. If you want to visit an ADAPA school, they're ready for you. And they're having a conference set up with high-profile business people. So we are saying to you, you cannot sit back and say, you think of everything that would happen that you can't go. My blood pressure, me not have the money. Yeah, but you're buying those bags, and even if you're not paying for those brand name bags, the same way you can pay for those brand name bags is the same way you can pay for a trip to accelerate your business. So these are areas that we really really need to address, and we don't know how much or how long we can continue to tell our businesses to step up to the next level, because you cannot stay there and consider, well, you can, if you think that this is where you want to be, you can. But if you are thinking of leaving generational wealth, if you are thinking of making, if a retirement, if this is your retirement plan, if this is if this is something that is going to provide the bread and butter on the table, then you have to step it up. You can't sit down of making a low profit per day and think that that's okay. You have to step it up to whatever it is that you need. If you need to get a funding to do a renaming, a rebuilding, whatever, if you need to get a grant, if you need to get anything, if you need to go to some classes, if you need to hire somebody, these are things that we constantly address within the chamber and have a need to continue addressing.
Dr. Donna, I should tell you that we left out some very important information. Dr. Marcia is also a pastor, and we should acknowledge that, for that is important. It's quite an achievement, and she's doing amazing work there as well. So we're learning that the chamber is an action chamber. It's not just a place organization you join for information. It's about action. It's not just talk, right?
No, not just talk.
So big stuff there, big stuff. So let's talk a little bit about policy influence. Let's talk a little bit about advocacy and policy influence. As we know that economic growth depends on the environment that the business is operating within, right? So Dr. Marcia, advocacy is a key pillar of the chamber. How does JAICC engage policymakers and stakeholders on behalf of its members?
So we don't do this anymore because it's not anymore. The person that used to do this in our chamber is not active at this moment. But we used to have, when you become a member, there's a needs specialist that you would speak to for before you become a member officially. And what the needs specialist would do is that the needs specialist would find out what your need is, where you are, what you intend to do, all the necessary questions for your business. Now, if probably part of your need is to advocate for something, then the chamber would try to find the necessary channel in which to advocate for that. Let's say it's a policy like the tariff that would affect most business that people don't know. We probably can't do anything under this administration, but one thing that we can tell you is that you can raise your price a little bit, look at your competitors, see what they're doing, and probably nip up your price a little bit to balance out. If it's in the case where it's something like an environmental thing, then we can write a letter for you. We can ask for a meeting, ask to meet with city members, political members, representatives, state representative, or stuff like that. And if it's something that we need to address with our local minister, as in import export, then we can always try to set up a meeting with the powers that be. Even if we don't get to the top, we can ask. So we have a legal team, Jamaica and here, that often work on that end for us in terms of getting these done. If it's something like landlord and tenant and we need to advocate, we have a landlord and tenant and a real estate lawyer. If it's anything to do with business, we have, well, he has passed. We have our business lawyer who is now deceased, and immigration, where we had the Ask the Lawyer, who would help you to navigate through that, or help us to advocate for what is right for our business.
Yeah, so we're talking about advocacy, and which is so important in the realm of business. But we know that advocacy, it also has a broader implications. But looking at the diaspora, Dr. Marcia, why is it so critical for businesses in the diaspora to have a voice in shaping business friendly policies?
Again, it goes back to branding. It goes back to influence. It goes back to mobilization for development, and it goes back to trade missions, because for the diaspora, for us as business person, we are here, and what we're doing is it goes back to our culture, is really selling our culture and our identity. Even though we might have different businesses, one of the things that sells us is really our identity and our culture. So that bridges that gap for us. It goes, like I said, it goes back to our core characteristic of who we are, as an individual, as a business, and as a community. It goes right back to us. I don't want to say this on I don't want to say this on social media, but it builds an economy for our diaspora. It builds an economy for our diaspora. Like, take for instance Victoria Mutual. Victoria Mutual is here, and they are opening accounts. So they are encouraging us to buy a piece of the rock, to invest back home. They are encouraging us to open an account. So some of the money would go back to our diaspora. And that would be you know what? I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it right there. But like I said, it really, really, really goes back to our influence and our characteristics of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. And talking about who we are, let's talk a little bit about community culture and identity. Because as Dr. Marcia, as you know, that economic success and cultural identity often go hand in hand, right? So how does the chamber promote Jamaican culture and heritage while still advancing economic goals?
We prioritize. Dr. Laxley. So we shift. We shift. If needed in the room to be business, we're going to put on those heels and we're going to get into those rooms. But then when it comes to culture, such as our independence, such as supporting organizations such as the Jamaica Museum and Culture, such as supporting our independent church service, such as creating event that sells our culture, we are going to do that. But then when it comes to making deals and decision, we're also going to be able to do that. So we shift and we do the things that we ought to do to build our community, to build the diaspora. We give out information, because that's mainly what a chamber is for, is to disseminate information too. So we give out the necessary information that people will need to build the community that they are in, to exchange information, but we can shift. We can shift so quickly. It doesn't even funny. It isn't even funny the way we shift.
Right. Yeah. What actual changes have you seen, Dr. Marcia, in the communities as a result of the chamber's work, where it has to do with job creations, confidence, and just collective identity on a whole?
So, um, confidence. It confidence. It's a pride when a business owner owns a business. If you look at some of the launches that we do and see the business owners smiling from ear to ear, of that pride, that confidence to know that they own a business, and this business might create job that drive the economy. I'm gonna tell you something. So when a business is open, when a small business is open, they have to pay certain taxes. They have to stay in compliance and they have to pay certain taxes. These taxes are used to fix the road, to test the water that we drink, to pay local workers, among other things. And so this give a small business a pride that they need to know that they're contributing to the economy in such a way, not only by creating jobs. So there a lot of our members have created jobs for the for a lot of people. What their business, they're not just business owners, but they're entrepreneurs. And so I don't want to be naming business, but they create jobs. They often find jobs. We have this one lady who is a member of our chamber, and she's not even Jamaican. She's African, and she not only find jobs for the community, but she helps the elderly to be in alignment with the programs that offer services to help them. And that gives her certain pride within the community, certain confidence to big up our chest, to know that she's giving to the community in a way that it's impacting. So while it's impacting, I can send people to her because I know of it, and the next person can send person to her because they know of it, and it has that domino effect because people starting to know of what she does in that way. But yeah, our small businesses create job creations, and there's a certain confidence that come with it. The lack of confidence is where they don't have the means to get funding, and that's why um we boost keeping records, like doing your tax, having your profit and loss statement. We boost bookkeeping and record keeping, and so that these can take you to the next level, so that confidence can grow. Right.
And confidence is so important, right? Ultimately, and so is membership, because
And so is membership.
the chamber is only as strong as its members, their participation, their engagement. What does membership in the JAICC offer to individuals and organizations seeking growth and connection? Why should I join as an organization?
You should join our organization because, for one, we do things differently. And two, we have programs, we create programs that cater to your specific need. So it's just not Marcia Parker, it's a team of people that you can actually have a conversation with. And we'll go back to the drawing board to say, here is some of the things that we can offer to you. If this doesn't work, come back to us. And if we are not in the position to do so, we can make referral. We'll do the research with you. We will look at your competitors. We can tell you that this is what your competitors are doing. This is the rate that this is going for. We will help you to do your promotion, your marketing. We will partner with you for credibility and visibility and engagement and all that kind of stuff. And we will also take your hand and give you training that will put you in the position to create that channel that will make your business become successful. And again, we often say success depends on how you measure your success. So we can always offer you the blueprint to becoming successful. It's up to you if you want to take the rest. Now, one model doesn't fit all at all, because every business have a different need. Every business have specific niche, and they want different things at different times, and that is why we are flexible and adaptable to create. Even though we have our core pillars that is the function of the chamber, we still will adapt and flex a little bit to create something that will reach your satisfaction. So if you are a architect, and you need to be trained in um getting blueprint done, probably that's a job for Georgia Tech. So we would then look at Georgia Tech, look at the programs they offer, and we would call them and see how we can get you into that program for that training. Do they have crash courses? Do they offer workshops? Because probably you don't even have the money to go back to school to get that. And Georgia Tech is one of our partners. If it's skills training that you need in terms of that, we can find if it's clientele for certain things, like if you have a home care or something like that and you need clientele, then we might be able to refer you to the people that can help you to source that kind of thing. So we individualize each membership. Like I talk about the needs specialist, we do an onboarding with you when you join our chamber, and we talk about your needs. We look at your website. We see what is missing from your website. We talk to you about your logo. If your logo is not sending the direct message for people, we talk about what we want to see or would like to see. If you can change that, if you could bring that, the pictures. Sometimes people just grab pictures from elsewhere and put it on their website, and it's not depicting. Sometimes it's picture that is what they call them, stock pictures, and it doesn't stand out well. So we go through these little things with you to make sure that you are sitting right with us. So we have persons who will help you to edit your book if you have a book and publish it for you. We have different type of person within the chamber, and that's why we talk about collaboration and networking, because there are different people with different talents, different skills who can help you to grow your business.
Wow.
I hope I'm answering those questions.
Yeah, you are, and you're giving us a lot of information, and I'm hoping that all our listeners out there, you're just taking all this in. And we probably should have said, to bring your notepad and your pen to take notes. Because this is a lot of information and it's important information, right? It's definitely important information to any business owner, any entrepreneur that is out there. But we also know that participation is pivotal in everything, right? And why is it that active engagement and volunteering is so essential to maximizing the chamber's collective power?
It creates people get to know you, and people get to know who you are. And people get to know the services you're offering and the product you're offering. And I use this analogy so often. How McDonald is always sitting there You're driving to Florida, or you're driving to New York, McDonald's is always sitting there over all the other food outlets. You know how you see the Golden Arch competing with the trees all the time over everything else? It's sit there because and competes with them because they want you to know that they are there. You might not need their service today. You might not need McDonald's today. And it might be it's there, it might be giving you telling you that you can get off at this exit to get to the food franchises. But it's sitting there and it wants you to know that it's there, and you see it there and you know that it's there. It's the same way with participating and volunteering. You want people to know that you are participating. You want people to know about your business. You want to sell your business through that. You want people to see your business, visibility, credibility. You want to engage people. You want to talk to people. You want to have conversation with people. And nobody knows your product more than you. So I could not volunteer to sell your product. You have to sell your product. I can probably give an introduction of the product, but I probably can't say, oh, well, give an analysis, a detailed analysis of your product. So it kind of makes sense for you to work and volunteer. The world is nothing without volunteer. We had a conversation lately where we were talking about the next generation, and we were talking about they know nothing about volunteerism. At some point in time, we have to volunteer. We volunteer sometimes, some of us, and we don't even know that we are volunteering. But not every time you move a paper from one place to the other, you're gonna get paid. Volunteerism is very important for your resume, for people to know you, to get you into spaces and places, for you to have a seat at the table, for you to even get a job. And so it's very important for people to be participating in chamber activities as well as volunteering in chamber activities.
Wow. Yes, we're drawing down, well, actually past the hour, but a few more questions, Dr. Marcia, and we have what we call the quick fire reflections, right? So before we close, I want your instinctive reflections. We're going to ask you a question and we want one word answer. So, Dr. Marcia, entrepreneurship or advocacy, which drives sustainable change faster?
I'm going to say entrepreneurship. I'm going to say entrepreneurship. Because you have to be an entrepreneur and then you advocate. It depends too. It depends on where you are and what you're doing and who you are. But I would say entrepreneurship drives economic change faster.
Okay. So let's look at the other one now. Local impact or global reach?
Local.
She said local reach.
Local impact. You have to start local first. And I tell you what that does. It helps you to build your brand. It helps you to become visible. And it helps you to become rooted and grounded before you expand out into the global. So local market, local whatever that was, local impact. Yeah.
Local. I like that. I like the local whatever that was.
Yeah.
All right. So one word that defines this season of leadership for you. One word.
One word. This season of leadership. One word. One word. I'm gonna say presence.
You must be there. You must be present.
You must be present. You cannot be, if you are not present, your name can't call.
And We're not talking about just being there. You
Yeah,
gotta really be there.
be actively there.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So, Dr. Marcia, for the entrepreneur or professional who wants to grow beyond borders but feels uncertain where to begin, what is the first action they should take today? And I also want you to tell us about the legacy that you're building in this response.
They can call me. I'm just kidding. But I think what I would want them to do is to stop observing and be more active, because the generation before and this generation has done a lot of the talking already and the observing. It's time for action. So I would want them to stop observing and start taking action. It doesn't take nothing for you to take action sometimes, like, become a mentor. The skill set that you have, you could pass it on to somebody that is in business, and you could probably be gaining from that. You could um, also not only be a mentor to somebody that could probably be paying you, but you could also be a mentee to somebody, and that could help you in your decision making. So a lot of the future entrepreneur, I think their their mindset is in the wrong place. And like I said, they need to move from observation into activity. And what was the other part of the question now? The legacy. So the legacy I want to leave, the legacy I want to leave is to constantly have people that are understudying us, the board, the leaders, the business, constantly understanding us, so that whatever we do, you can capitalize on that. You can subtract from it, you can add to it, you can keep it, and you can run with it. It's like, we constantly want people to understudy us, constantly want people to adapt to some of the things, learn some of the things that we do. How did we do it? How did we get there? Watch the program, rewrite the program that we have to fit a certain need or to fit a certain demographic that we need. And that's the legacy that we want. So we're constantly calling on the younger generation to be more active, to be more participative, to be more involved in some of what we are doing. And if it is that what we're doing, because a lot of them will say to you, well, we don't like the lip service. If what we're doing is too much lip service, and if what we're doing is not something that is engaging you, then come to us and tell us what we can do to have you gravitate to what it is that we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
That is so powerful. I was I was having a conversation with a young person, I guess, called Gen Z from Kenya. And what she said was, stop making decisions for us, make decisions with us. Let's come to the table together and make decisions. So powerful stuff you're saying there, Dr. Marcia. All right, so as we bring this conversation to a close, one truth stands unmistakably clear, and it is that diaspora leadership is not symbolic, it is strategic. It is about building bridges that create opportunity and shaping systems that empower communities and ensuring that economic progress carries cultural pride and social responsibility along with it. Dr. Marcia Parker, Pastor, thank you for your visionary leadership, for your unwavering commitment to service, and your tireless work in advancing the mission of the Jamaica American International Chamber of Commerce. Your leadership reminds us that Chamber of Commerce are not merely networks, they are engines of possibility. Through advocacy, mentorship, trade, and community engagement, you're helping to transform ambition into action and vision into impact. To everyone watching and listening to our conversation tonight, This is your invitation. It is an invitation to move beyond observation and into participation. And I know Dr. Marcia just said that, right? Beyond isolation and into collaboration. The bridges that shape the future are not built by institutions alone. They are built by individuals who chose to engage, contribute, and lead with purpose. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a professional, or a community advocate, your role matters. Your choice belongs at the table. Your voice belongs at the table, and your willingness to act can help strengthen economies, uplift communities, and expand opportunities across borders. Dr. Donna, it's all yours.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Stephenson. Thank you, Dr. Marcia Parker. And I left off the pastor, but Pastor Dr. Marcia Parker. Thank you so much for spending your Monday evening with us and just imparting so much knowledge, so much information. We so appreciate it, and I'm going to ask you to come back again. So I'm just going to ask you to come back again because it's a lot of information, and I know that we're going to have to tell our listeners when you're coming back. This is one of those episodes that you're going to need to come with your paper and your pen because it's a lot of information, a lot of important, detailed information that we all need. And we so appreciate you sharing your knowledge with us. We appreciate you being passionate about what you're doing and your commitment to the growth of entrepreneurs and business people and to the diaspora and just the success of individuals. Don't take that lightly. It takes a special person to really be dedicated to wanting to see other people succeed in what they're doing. So we appreciate you very much. And to our listeners, we thank you for joining us this Monday evening. We do not take your time for granted. We hope that this episode this evening brought you a great wealth of information. We hope that your tummies were filled with knowledge because this was really a lot of food that we got here. So if you didn't have dinner, you should be full right now. So we hope that you found this to be very informational. We thank you for joining us. We want you to go out there and be safe. It is the beginning of the week, so go out there, be safe in your daily travels. And also, we're asking you to go out. We're charging you to go out there and do at least one act of kindness to someone that you know, preferably a stranger, not our family member or friends. We always show love and kindness to our family member and friends, but we're specifically wanting to spread love and kindness to strangers. Let it become infectious for us to be able to be kind to one another. So whether it's a good morning, a cup of coffee, or whatever it is you do, but let's go ahead and be kind to each other. Yes. And without further ado, you all have a wonderful and blessed remainder of the week.
Thank you.
Step into the spotlight.
Couple lights on, cameras roll. Time to break the mold. No more silence, every story's gotta be told. Truth in the air, no filter, no disguise. Real talk, real change. We open up your eyes. We got the voices that are changing the game.